Now we will do the same for the other two axes. We'll move the heated bed away that we can get to the end stop switch at the front here. And now we'll press the icon to home the Y-axis, and as soon as it starts to move, we'll press the end stop switch with our finger. If you press the home button and nothing happens, what also can be the problem is the connectivity of your end stop switch. So how the end stop switch work is they are normally closed, and as soon as you press it, it breaks the circuit. So if there's a connectivity problem and the circuit isn't closed, then the printer sees that the end stop switch is already triggered, and then it also will not move that axis. So make sure that the wiring of your end stop switches is done correctly. Now we will do the same for the Z-axis. We'll press on the Z-axis, home the Z-axis icon, and as soon as we do that, we'll press the end stop switch with our finger. Okay, so at this point we are sure that all three axes are moving in the correct direction and that all the end stop switches are working. Now we will do the bed leveling. What the bed leveling means is that all the different axes are perpendicular to each other, and if it is set up properly, then the hot end, if it moves in the X and the Y axis, then the hot end will stay a constant distance from the build plate. So how we'll do that is we'll lower the Z axis that it's just above the glass bed. You'll probably need to home your Z axis again because we've triggered it with our finger, so the printer thinks that the current position where it is at the moment is 0 and it cannot go into the negative values. So we can adjust the position where the Z axis is homed. We can adjust it with the long screw above the Z axis end stop switch. So we home the Z axis again, and it should home very close to the heated bed, so that the nozzle is very close to the heated bed. Then we can move it up slightly, that it's just above the glass bed. What we'll do now is we'll move the hot end around. We'll start at the back of the build plate, and we'll move the X-axis around and make sure that the distance between the nozzle and the glass plate stays constant. So firstly, how we adjust it is we keep the rod on the right hand side or the rod on the left hand side, depending if you want to adjust the X-axis like this or like this. We keep the one fixed and we turn the other one. So if the distance on that side is correct, but the distance on that side is a lot more, then we keep this one fixed and we turn that one so that that side lowers but this side stays constant. Once you've done that and the distance between the nozzle and the glass plate stays constant over the whole distance, you can continue to adjust these 4 screws so that the distance all over the build area stays constant between the nozzle and the build plate. We need to get that distance constant. The tolerance on that is about 0.1 millimeters. So at this point it's worthwhile to take some time and get it very accurate. This will also improve the quality of of your prints, especially if you print something that is the whole bed, as big as the whole printing bed. When you are done with the bed leveling, we can check that all the axis homes correctly. So there's a fourth homing icon on your Repetier House software, and there's no letter on it. That one, if you press that one, it will first home the X, then the Y, and then the Z. So if you press that one, it homes the X, it homes the Y, and then it homes the Z. So when it's done with that, then the position where it's in is the 0 point for all three axes of your printer. So that's where it stops. You'll also see that in your Repetier House software, on the bottom corner of the build volume is a black dot, and that black dot represents the position where it's in now. The next thing we'll do is we'll test the hot end and the heated bed, if they heat up and if they measure the temperature correctly. So on your Repetier House software, next to the bottom colored bar, the one that goes from blue to green to red, is on the left hand side is a icon where there's a red line through that represents your hot end. So if we press that, at the top it should say heating extruder, and on your display it will show the temperature to which it is commanded. What you need to check now is that your temperature that is displayed increases, and also that touch it quickly to make sure that it is actually your hot end that is heating up. If your hot end is not heating up and your heated bed is heating up, then the power leads is connected the wrong way around. If the temperature of your heated bed is increasing, but the hot end is getting hot, then it means that the temperature sensors is plugged in the wrong way around between your heated bed and your hot end. Once you're done with that, you can do the same for the heated bed. Click on the icon just above the extruder, the one with the red line through it. The red line will disappear and the temperature of the heated bed should start to increase. When you're sure that the hot end and the heated bed, both of them are wired correctly, you can switch them off, and then we can lift the extruder by about 20 millimeters, and we can switch the hot end on. What we'll do now is we are going to feed the plastic into the extruder, and if you have ABS, you can set it to 240 degrees Celsius. If you have PLA, you can set it to 190 degrees Celsius. So you can switch on your extruder and leave it to reach the temperature.